Political Kuwait, visit done. More Anishinaabe, Niimi'idiwag, we honor we sama, sema, Niimi'idiwag, we win it. We win it, Shawada, and we win it, Niimi'idiwag. I speak for them, for they all go home safely. We sing for them. The honor song. Go home safely. Oh, Logan Monroe.
Bonjour, Anham Buka Indigenous Cause, Cause Squadron, Kagan Uniba, Wapawiga, Kaganda, Sugar Point, Mason Nudame. My name is Logan Monroe. I'm suffering from a cold today, so I had to bring a microphone in order to speak a little bit. But I'm going to try to narrate as best I can for everybody today. We have our Northland Community Schools, some of our boys from that area. They're all from the Sugar Point area is where they descend from, which are from the Ogitchida of the Battle of Sugar Point that some of you may have gotten to see Cece McKaig's presentation last Saturday, I believe. Yes, so we're going to start with talking about them a little bit. They've all been singing together for quite a few years, since they were about 3 years old to 8 years old, I believe. Like I said, they're all from the Sugar Point area on Leech Lake. They've sang places such as Washington, D.C., the Super Bowl in Minnesota here a few years ago, and all over the United States. They've sang all across this nation since they were pretty young. So they've all been singing together for some time. Every one of them are related. They're cousins and brothers, so they've grown up together as well. I'm the Indian Education Director at Northland Community Schools in Reamer, and I'm also from the Sugar Point area. 2 of them are my sons, a few of my nephews, and little cousins. So we're all one big family. I'm very proud to have introduced them. They are today the Sugar Point Singers, and our lead singer is Logan Monroe. He's going to explain a few of the introductions of drumming. So I'm going to ask him to start that at this time. Miigwech.
So our program tonight is just going to consist of a really basic introductory sort of overview of a couple of our Ojibwe drums and some of the histories and protocols and things like that that go along with these drums and with the songs that we sing with them. There's a few types of drums in our Ojibwe culture. Some of them are more used just for ceremonial and more closed spiritual gatherings. But, the 2 that we're going to show you tonight, there's the hand drums over here, which originally originated with our Algonquin peoples. They're a lot similar to some of the drums that you'll see from different tribal groups and different culture areas. But these drums over here, these handheld hand drums, are the ones that we Algonquin people originally used, like Anishinaabe, Powwow, Ottawa, kind of those by the Great Lakes and stuff like that. And then the second one here is our big drum. That's what you'll hear. That's what you'll hear it as most of the time. Some people call it a flat drum or a grass dance drum. And this originally came from the Lakota and Dakota people, the south and the west, and was introduced to us by those people when the Anishinaabe and the Ottawa and Potawatomi migrated from the east coast, and so they were generous enough to share this drum with us and allowing us to adopt it into our culture, along with the songs and the protocols and the ways that we can respect this type of drum. So both of these varieties of drums can come from several different sources. They can be either handed down, like some of the hand drums that we have over there. They can be pre-made and purchased in different shops and stores. But usually they're made right in our homes and schools and other personal spaces where they're kept by their drum keepers. As you can see, all of these drums, they're not made with the plastic faces that you'll see in more contemporary band type of drums, those big bass drums. Traditionally, you'll see that they were made with this sort of wooden ring, and then the faces and the things that are used to tie those faces down to the wood are made from animal hide. And so traditionally those were usually made with animals like deer or bison or elk. But today you can use more contemporary, more recently introduced animals like I know a lot of people will use cattle hide or sometimes horse hide to stretch over this drum, and it's tied down with these strips made from the animal. For Indigenous people, the drum is more than an instrument or inanimate object. In our culture, the drum has its own life and its own spirit within it. Usually when our drums are made, we perform ceremonies that honor that spirit and life, to helpfully sort of welcome it into this realm of being, to welcome that spirit and to welcome that life and all that it has to give into our circles and into our lives and into our spiritualities. So the drum, the sound that it makes, you'll most often hear our teachers say that it represents a heartbeat, and so that can either represent the hearts, the collective hearts of our people, or the heart of our Shkafkami Kwe, our Mother Earth. And in some traditions, the beats can be changed or beat in a different way to represent different kind of stories or cultural aspects, like they can be used to represent thunder or storms, or to represent things like gunfire or cannons. I'm trying to use this paper so I don't get lost. So now with these drums and beats, there are also the songs that come along with them, and there's a wide variety of songs that can be sung and performed using all of these kinds of drums. So songs in our culture can be made and sung for all different sorts of reasons. They can be used for ceremonies and dances, different intertribal and social gatherings. Some of them, like you'll see today, can be used for courtship or just to kind of have a nice time and kind of rock out with each other. Just using these two drums alone that you can see today, there's many different varieties of songs with different meanings and uses and beats. And most of them can be broken down into a similar pattern or structure. So when the song starts, the drum will usually be heard first. It'll start beating it, and you'll hear that before any of our singers usually. And then the lead singer, who will be represented by myself, will start alone with a phrase or a tune that we call a lead, and that will lead out the other singers into the song. And once our lead singer sings alone that lead, the rest of the singers, or if the lead singer is singing alone, it'll be repeated again, and then it's followed by a melody or a verse that goes along after that and fills up most of the song. And then that first melody and verse is then repeated, which we then call a tail. So when you put all those parts of that song together, it's called what we call a push-up. And so when all those parts are put together, it's called a push-up. And traditionally, normally we'll use four push-ups a song. That's sacred number 4. And so the 4 parts of the push-up will be repeated 4 times to make up a full song. And sometimes songs, for different reasons, however you're using them, wherever you're using them, they can be shortened or lengthened depending on the circumstance. But for simplicity's sake, we're just going to stick with 4 push-ups a song today. So now that we know about our song structure, we can talk about the different types of songs that you might hear at different gatherings and such. And there's three basic categories of songs that you'll usually hear. So I think the least common would be songs that are made up mostly of words in the language. You won't hear those as much today in our different gatherings and such. So those will be made up with our indigenous languages like Ojibwe or Lakota or Cree, and with different vocalizations in between. The most common that you'll hear at our powwows and other gatherings are those that are just made up of vocalizations, and those are the heys and the yas and the ohs that you'll hear, usually come to mind when you think of And then the third category would just be sort of a combination between those two, where there are sections in our songs that are made up of words, and other sections during those push-ups that are made up of just our vocalizations. During many of our songs, in the tail and the second verse, you'll hear several louder accenting beats, and these are called honor beats or check beats, and they can come in sets in between like 3 and 5, or as many as 8 to 9, and they're louder accenting beats to the song, which can represent different things. Like we talked about, it can represent gunfire or cannon fire when we're using a dance or a song to kind of tell a story or to display an aspect or a facet of our culture. And other times they're used to just kind of bring attention to this drum and the spirit and what it's doing for us, for everyone to honor this drum with those honor beats. So now we've covered both of these drums' histories and their purpose and their culture. We've covered the songs and beats that accompany these drums and have analyzed, their structures. So now, before we get into our demonstrations for you tonight, I want to quickly cover one of the most important aspects that revolve around the keeping and the honoring of these drums, and that's being able to properly honor and respect these drums, and putting certain protocols into place in order to ensure that respect is given properly. In our Ojibwe culture, because the drums are considered animate beings with those life forces and those spirits, just like how the animals or the plants or our Mother Earth are considered our elders, we refer to our drums as our grandfathers or our older brothers, because just like the animals and the plants and the earth and the moon and the sun and everything out in our world, their spirits and what they do and what they have given us have been around for a very long time, and we want to make sure that we are honoring what they've done and how long that they've been here to do that. So as you'll see throughout our exhibition here tonight, there are several things that the drummers sitting around here will and won't do in order to show respect for our grandfathers. Firstly, when not in use, our drums will usually be covered in cloth, or they're stored in appropriate bags, just so that they're not exposed. We want to make sure that they're warm and that they're protected from different factors like humidity or low temperatures, to make sure that these drums, our elders, aren't too exposed or won't be physically damaged from those certain things. Secondly, you'll see that nothing will be set on the drum besides, of course, our drumsticks, our sacred plants like asima or kanikkanik or cedar, or water when we're taking care of our drums. So our plates or our cups or our feet won't be seen touching the tops of these drums, to make sure that we're properly respecting the drums in the way that they need to be. So with the hand drums over here, you'll see that none of them are facing down. Their hide faces aren't being laid down on. You'll usually see them always face up, and that's because in our Ojibwe culture and tradition, it's seen akin to laying a baby or an elder on their face, and so you'll always see them resting on their backs, and their faces will be facing up. So one of the biggest questions that I wanted to talk about, one of the biggest protocols that I wanted to talk about is, a lot of people will ask whether our women and our girls will be able to sing sit around these drums. Because as you'll see, sitting around here is just young men and boys. And that's because in our culture, our women especially are considered very spiritually powerful. So they're so spiritually in tune throughout their lives that it's encouraged for our women and our girls to not sit at our big drums like the boys and the men, out of respect for our women's health and our drums' health, not only physically but spiritually. Another reason for that is a division of responsibility. So where our drumming is usually done by men and young boys, our women have other responsibilities and ceremonies that they can perform and conduct. And this doesn't mean, however, that our women and girls are totally excluded from singing. For our big drums, our grass dance drums, women will often stand on the outside of this circle behind our men and boys and sing at a higher pitch, which we call backup singing. And so that also adds another level of the song's voices when that occurs. It's a little different for our hand drums though. These drums can be touched and held by our women, but just like our big drum, there are certain factors and certain circumstances that could prevent them from doing so. They can use these drums when appropriate and even sing their own songs that are exclusive to our women singers. Alright, so now that we've finally covered a very, very general and very basic overview of our drums, because there's a lot that we could keep going on, and because even as a 19-year-old going on 20, I've been singing for 12 years, and I'm still learning so much every day. And I know that these guys are too, because I teach them. So it's still a very basic, general overview of what we could be teaching. But as you can see, it's a lifelong journey of learning and respecting and learning everything that goes along with this drum and its spirituality. So now that we've done that, we can finally show you our songs that we have came with us today.
We're going to start out with the drum. And the first song in our lineup is what we call a straight song. The song has a basic beat that goes like the two-step, 1, 2, 1, 2. The specific song falls into one of our 3 categories that we talked about earlier. It will be a straight song with only vocals, so no words of any kind. It will only consist of vocalizations. Make sure to look out for those honor beats, those check beats, and try and see if you can pick out the structure of the push-ups or verses that we talked about earlier.
I'll give one.
to our next song, I want to thank these boys for putting this narration together. They've written this out, and they decided how they were going to give out this presentation. It took them about a week or so, so I really appreciate how they took this very seriously and are very proud to be here. The next song they're going to sing is another straight song, but this time they'll display one of the other categories, which includes words in Ojibwe. So the same thing as the last one, but featuring our language, Anishinaabe and Miigwech. This next one is called a Crow Hop. It's originated from Western tribes such as our Crow Nation. This type of song utilizes a slow beat that dancers will hop in a similar fashion to a crow or a raven. It still follows the same push-up structure as the straight songs and has its own check beats as well. When dancers dance in this type of song, they simulate the crow as it hops on the earth, helping to wake up Mother Earth in the morning. Like the crow hop, our songs and dances can simulate events or processes in our culture or daily life. The next song we'll be demonstrating is called the Sneak Up. During this song, the leads and first melodies are sung with a disorganized rumbling beat that defines this particular style of song, which is then succeeded by a regular straight beat in the tail. During this song, dancers will move and dance in a way that simulates sneaking up on an enemy or hunting for potential food sources like deer. In this song's fourth push-up, all the parts of the push-up will revert back to a constant straight beat that eventually finishes up the song, which can be switched up with different beats or tricks for the dancers, however the singers see fit.
Hey!
The next song in our lineup is what we call a double beat. This song is named obviously for its distinct beat. This type of song follows the same 1-2 beat that the straight songs do, but accents the second beat, which become harder and louder, resulting in a beat that sounds like 1-2, 1-2. During this song, dancers will lift their feet on the softer beat and stomp on the second. In this way, the dancers will dance similar to the way they would during more recently introduced crow hop, which is why this song and dance has earned the name of the original crow hop in some of circles. Miigwech. The next song they will be singing is the Duck and Dive. This is more specifically simulated of cannon fire or gunfire. These 4 beats are distributed evenly throughout each push-up, each 2 shots being featured in the first melody and 2 in the second. When dancing to this song, dancers will duck or lower themselves during each of these beats, simulating ducking and diving out of the way of cannon or gunfire. English. Now, most of or all of these songs that you've heard today are northern style singing types. We're going to have them sing as the final song a southern style. The reason is you'll hear a few different beats and paces in the singing and dancing, or singing and drumming. One of the biggest things that sets these types of songs apart is the pace of the beat. If you hear these southern style songs being used around this area, they're usually because they are used for men's dancers called fancy dancers or women's dancers called the fancy shawl. When these songs are sung for these particular dancers, the reason these dances are called fancy is the spectacular dancing that show fast moves and steps. So when this southern style song is used for those dancers, the beat progressively becomes faster and faster until it almost resembles the sneak-up beat. But the drummers are still drumming in unison. In addition, to keep this speedy beat, the third and fourth leads will be cut short, and the rest of the singers will join in halfway through the original lead. This will be one of the final big drum songs. So before we switch to the hand drum that you'll see here today, I'm going to ask them now to introduce themselves.
Bonjour, escobarese indígena caso uma coisa de vem, caso que escolhe mecânica de Jubashi, já this way a bit more this. My name is Logan Monroe. I'm from over on Leech Lake in the Sugar Point community. I'm 19 years old. I'm the lead singer of the Sugar Point Singers, and I am the Ojibwe drum instructor over in Northern Community Schools in Reamer.
Hello, my name is Logan Monroe. I am 13 and I live in Sugar Point. London does na cause market due dame, cousin squad may cause a due to bar, while bobbing na kaganda. Ashina Spain with vinegas. Hello, my name is Logan Monroe. I am
Yeah, bonjour, my name is Ronald. Indigenous cause concluded to do squad make high individual. I see these website in Bunigas. I'm from Wamba, and I live in East Lake also. And you know, I also really like turtles. They're pretty dope.
Hello, Elijah Indigenous Cause, Bemidji, and Dudain. Gaza Squad, Jamaica, and Dunjaba, Iwi Zan, Zaga, Ini, Ashinan, and Ibubunigiz. Hello, my name is Elijah, and I'm Eagle Clan. I'm from Leech Lake, and I'm living in Boy Lake area, and I'm 15.
Bonjour, Isaiah Indigenous Cause, Bemidji, Dudain, Gaza Squad, Jamaica, and Dunjaba, Powwow, Bemidji, my name is Isaiah, finally. I'm 18. I also live in the Leech Lake community in Sugar Point. I got no interesting.
Bonjour, Danica Indigenous Cause, Makwa Inuit, Gaza Squad, Jamaica, and Dunjaba, Powwow, Bemidji, Anishinaabe, Ibubunigiz. Hello, my name is Danica Heinley. I am Bear Clan. I am from Leech Lake, Sugar Point, and I am 13 years old.
A few of our singers are going to perform some of the hand drum songs for you today. If they could step up and show their hand drums, then we'll begin their performance. The first song that we will be featuring with our hand drums is what we call the Ojibwe style sidestep. This song is played similar to the double beat we heard earlier, but this is played at a much faster pace. This song is traditionally danced to by the women, and in the Ojibwe language, the sidestep is called Ikwe, which translates to the women's song. The dance that accompanies this song and beat is different from the other songs. Stepping to the side with the dancers going around the outside of the dance circle instead of dancing forward on the inside of the circle. So please keep in mind, this narration was made by the students and their instructor, and I will keep reading. These next couple of songs are their favorites. These types of songs will usually fall more into categories of friendship, courtship, and just rocking out with each other like we spoke earlier. These songs, like the sidestep or the big drum songs. They can also be songs that tell about the heartbeat, or can be used for laugh and humorous purposes. Different beats can be used to perform these songs, but the beat we'll be using today is known as freestyle. It is similar to the sidestep, but a little slower. This beat basically involves a hidden trick, where the singer lifts one of their fingers between two beats and lets their finger gently touch the back of the hide while it vibrates, giving the beat what we call a snare, and this almost sounds to some people like a third beat. Another feature that sets these songs apart is that they will often feature a period where the drummers will tap on the edge of the drum to bring more attention to the words in the song, or to just switch it up a little bit. The first song that we'll be performing is a round dance, without any wording featuring just vocalizations. Unlike the songs that you've heard before, round dance songs don't typically require honor beats, so they will not be featured in these next couple of songs. These songs do, however, feature the same formula heard up till now, which is the leads repeat, the first verse or melody, and the tail. Miigwech.
Yeah.
As in the big drum songs, these next songs can also feature the English language, enjoyed equally by non-Indigenous speakers. For your enjoyment tonight, we will be performing a love song. This love song will be in English. We hope you will enjoy it. We hope that you enjoyed yourselves and enjoyed learning a little piece of our Ojibwe culture and our songs and drums and everything we've been able to present tonight. We want to say that we will be back next Saturday here for an exhibition of our different dance styles and regalia. So if anybody is interested in learning more about our dancers and want to listen to a bit more of our drumming, we encourage you to attend that program as well. We want to say miigwech and thank you to the Bemidji Public Library and the Historical Society for giving us this wonderful opportunity tonight in sharing our passions and culture with the community. And we hope that you'll come back next weekend. Before we leave though, the drum group wanted to properly send everyone off with a traveling song to send everyone back on their way in a good way and make sure everyone gets home safe tonight. You're certainly welcome to stick around for that and to ask any questions that you may have afterward. Once again, we want to thank you all for coming and saying miigwech and Gigawaalo Mininawa.